Hi, welcome back. If you're new here, just welcome. What we do here is we make different cute or crafty things. We're going to learn lots of stuff. I'm just getting started right now, so I haven't dove into a lot of the things that I'm really excited to get to show you guys. So right now we're starting off slow so I can get the hang of this, and you can always let me know some of the things that you want to make. So today we're going to do something of just an absolute cutie pie. All right. Now, when I went to the store a while back to get the felt to finish up the bunny, if you saw the little felt bunny, um, I came across this maroon and I thought, So, one of my biggest and definitely loudest cheerleaders is my middle daughter. She goes to Texas A&M in Galveston, and to study marine biology with an emphasis on penguins. So, yes. So, when I saw this in her colors, I thought, oh my gosh, look at this. Look at him. Isn't he so cute? She's going to flip. She has no idea that I'm doing this. Look, and he's in A&M colors. This is what we're going to make. Okay. I'm going to put him, set him aside next to Humphreys here. Okay. All right. So, this is what we're going to do. So, first, we think about our basic shapes. Okay, so penguin, this penguin shape. Some of my penguins are like bullet shaped and stuff, but this is the style she draws, and it's more of a bowling pin or gourd shape. So it kind of comes out the head, in the neck, and out around this cute little tummy. Okay, so to pattern. Now this one I made, he kind of wobbles because he has a little tushy. He has no tail. So we're modifying the original pattern. Okay, so this was the original pattern, which we're still going to use. We're going to use on the front 4 panels. Okay, and to get this shape, I was lazy and did not go to the office to pick up copy paper. I had lined paper. You can use whatever you want, it doesn't matter. So we're going to show that. Okay, so we take our piece of paper and we fold part of it so it's nice and even. Get the rest of the paper out of the way. Okay, so we have a fold here, right? Okay, now what I had done was I figured out about how big. I didn't want it too big because your felt is only so big unless you get it by the yard. So I didn't want it more than 12 inches. This one actually almost fits across the 9-inch side of this. So I had it measured about where I wanted to start and about where I wanted to end. Now it's going to do this. Okay, you don't have this to trace, but I'm just showing you. Okay, change views. Okay, excuse my mess around. I have lots of projects going on and remnants of them all over the place. So here we go. What I had done was I had taken about how long I wanted it. So this, actually taken. I didn't use a ruler, to be perfectly honest. I just kind of guessed, like, about that big. Okay, and then came out for the head. You want to come around and in for the neck, and then out for the body. Around like that. So then, because it's paper, so you can cut that out and see, I like that, I think that'll work, or no, the head is too wide, and you can like trim, or if you need it bigger, then you can make another one. You just kind of work with it and play with it and see what you think will work. So we did that. Now, to make the little tail, what I had done was I had traced this on my paper. So I got pretty darn close, just freehanding that. So I'm getting a piece of paper. half, okay? And I had traced this, my pattern that I had made, and so I'd have it like, okay, so that's what I have. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? I actually didn't fold the piece of paper because it's silly because I don't need it the same on both sides. That's not what I did. I did this. I traced both sides because you'll do this one first so that you can get it mirrored so it's even on both sides, okay? And decided that, okay, this part will be the bottom part of it. You see it comes in a little bit, a couple inches before it starts to curve out. So thinking about your gourd, how does a gourd shape? Okay, so about then, and then curve that out. Hope you can see this. And make the tail, which is basically like going to be the tripod. It's going to help hold it up. All right. We hope, because I hadn't made one with the tail yet. But it should work. So we have that. So see, when I done, oh, this one. I played around with it, the shape, until I got that right. So come out. There are many, like, oh, do I make it here? Do I make it here? Do I make it here? Try to figure that out. But since this is folded, or it will curve in when it's made, okay, that's how high I need to make the tail. So I have that. Okay. Now, the tummy, we'll do like we did and have our piece of paper. And this time we really will fold in half. Sorry about that. And you want it to curve in kind of heart shape, and then it'll come in the neck and then bulb around. Now it's bigger than this piece, but again, you might want to mark where your ends are and where your neck is so that you can line it up so the neck comes in on the tummy piece. You can see, you can tell that I don't usually demonstrate like this, so this is a little backward for me, so I apologize. So this is our body, and it comes out for the head and in for the neck. So our little tummy piece, this is our little face. It is wider than this because it's going to come across, you can see at the end, it's going to come across a couple of panels, okay? All right. So it's going to be wider. And this is actually about the width of, like half of this is about the width of one of these. See? So you can always look at that and see if that's the right size, the right part where it comes in and goes around. Okay, and we have our tummy. For our flippers, I just kind of guessed and made this shape. Okay, you can again fold your paper and make your little egg shape or whatever. You make it bigger, you make it, you know, however you want. You make it kind of curve if you want the little flippers to kind of stick out. This is the shape I went with. Okay, the feet. The feet folded in half, the paper folded in half, made the one toe in the middle, just half the width that you would think, come out and then around. And this little fat foot, because you have to keep in mind, these little feet are going to be stuffed a little bit. It just adds a little more stability to it, a little more firmness to the feet. So you want to make it a little bit fatter than you would think, because you got to keep in mind that it's going to be stitched about this far in. All right, you always got to keep that in mind so you know if you're making it, what's not going to be awkward, because otherwise you might have to redo it. Okay, the little beak, I did basically a half circle. It's probably going in like that is probably 135-degree angle. It's geometry. And then round it around. Like a little circle. You can trace a cup or something like that and make your rounded edge if you're concerned. And then just about that. See, my lined paper, you see, that's about 90 degrees. Okay. And then it's a little more than that. So almost 45 degrees. That's why I said 135. You can get your protractor out or you can just kind of guess. All right. So after I had my pattern pieces, move the paper out the way. I have my pattern pieces, and I will take my felt, which you'll need about 2 sheets of the maroon or your body color. You use whatever color you want. I don't need that. That is liquid clay. 1 of orange. You can see I just have the orange and I have cut out the pieces already, but save your felt that you're not using. I mean, there's no point in throwing that away. There's still a lot to use. And 1 of your tummy color, your contrast color. So like I said, for this one, we're doing A&M, which is the maroon and silver. I didn't quite want white. I wanted a little bit of something. So I have that and my orange, and we cut out our pieces. So, okay, I did not say how many pieces we needed of each kind, did I? So there's about 6 panels in the body. Okay, so we need 2 with the little tail for the back, and the other 4 are our original body shape. Okay, then for the flippers, we'll cut out 4 flippers because we want them thicker, not only to make it look a little thicker and stability, but also because when we attach it, we're not going all the way through. So we need one of them to grab hold of, and we don't want it to show on the other one. You see, it doesn't show my stitches, but they're there on the underside. Okay. Same thing with the feet, but the feet will be stuffed. So we need 4 pieces cut out for the feet, 1 for the beak, and then 1 for our tummy. All right. So if you watched the bunny, you start with the same thing. Okay. So I have my yarn needle, which is a darning yarn needle. So I found them. I found the sharp ones. I was so happy about that. All right. Now I'm using gray yarn. You can use the same color of the felt that you want. Like you're making just a regular black and white penguin. You can use your black yarn, everything like that. It's just easier to show you guys if it's contrasting. Okay. So needle threader, absolutely love it. I feel like I'm going blind. Now my other one that I was using, I have no idea what happened to it. So I had to get another one. Okay, so we've threaded our needle. Okay. We have it where it's not all the way down like you would if you were sewing with thread, because it's yarn and yarn is thicker. And this little penguin keeps jumping out. Okay, you'll knot the other end like so. Okay. Just to cut the excess. Oops, may have cut that a little too short. Well, let's hope for the best. Okay, so we have 2 of our extra felt out of the way. Okay, so we have 2 of our body pieces. Putting together, and it doesn't matter which end you start with, honestly. You just get started. Now, this one is going to be turned right side out. So if you need to do it just for your own OCD or your own comfort, you can put the right sides together, which would be the sides that aren't marked. You can kind of see my pin marking on that. If you're using black, you may need to use like a chalk or one of those permanent markers that marks on dark things in order to see your lines to cut them out. I have done both the chalk because it's a fabric kind of like everywhere, and then you can't tell where you're cutting. Okay, but anyway, that's just a side note. Okay, so we'll get started. I say okay a lot. I apologize. Sorry. We're gonna get started like that. So we have our sides together, and we're gonna do a whip stitch, just around. Okay, and like the bunny, about the same distance all the way around. You want your stitches about the same length from the edge and about the same width in between. And you'll continue that. When you get to the top, then you will add another one and another one and another one, and then put the backs together. So when the backs, well, I'll show you when we get to that. Okay, once you get down to the end here, then you'll add your third piece, line it up, the head part and the body part. Okay, and then you'll start stitching that around like you did the first two pieces, just holding it in place. Go around there. Okay, and then you'll continue that all the way down, and then add the next piece and zigzag all the way up and down till you get it all the body pieces sewn together. Okay, so once you have all of your panels sewn together, you have all 6 of them, make sure that your tail is also sewn together and lined up. Then you will close it out. You hear my dog whimpering. He's fine. He's fine. It's windy outside and he gets scared. But anyway, so you'll line up that last side, and see, I ended up here, so I'll stitch to about there and then turn it right side out. This last bit together. Okay. The thing I love about felt is that it's very forgiving, and if you mess up, you can just take the yarn out of the needle, undo a stitch or two, whatever you need to do, and then rethread it and start again. Super easy. Hush, Harrison. Okay, so we'll stop about there. All right, gonna leave that attached. We're gonna turn it right side out. Okay, run my thumb along the seams. You can see the stitching, which I think is a cute accent sometimes. Okay, now here's the little tail. I can't quite get the tail out, so I'm going to use my scissors and very carefully, very gently poke where my finger couldn't get to. Okay, got the tail out. Okay, and then we're going to stuff with fluff and finish up the sew. see your little penguin come together. Now, like we talked about with the bunny, they're basic shapes, and that's our penguin is like a bowling pin or a gourd shape, and that's its basic shape, kind of pear shaped, I guess. And but it can translate into lots of different stuffed animals. If you don't want to do a penguin, it can be a different kind of bird. You can add different little ears. So you make the tail longer, make it into a mouse. Just really whatever you want to do. Make the little tail longer and make a little puppy or a kitty cat, which we'll probably do a kitty cat at some point, so I can show you. Especially if I can find the type of felt that I used to get. My oldest daughter has a black kitty and a tortoise shell. I used to be able to find one that would be perfect for the little tortie. Okay, get it stuffed where it's pretty full, but not too full where you can't close it up. Okay, look at that booty. Look at that. See? And when he's on his feet, then that'll help hold it up. Okay. Oh, make sure you get the stuffing all the way down. It'll add stability to him. I need a little bit more. Okay. And we're going to finish up our stitch, right? Tug that tight. Try to push the seam inward. Okay. You can see where it is. Up through that next side. Down into that one. And see? Okay. Up through. Okay, I still have my fluff because I wasn't sure I was going to need feet. Some more. I think I lost a foot. I'm going to have to look for it. Okay, and then you'll continue all the way down to the end. Every about third or fourth stitch on this, you can see where it's still kind of loose. You'll want to poke your seam inward. Okay, you want to pull that in and then pull them tight. Okay, poke your seam inward and pull your stitches tight. It's easier said than done. There we go. One that just did not want to get pulled. Everyone struggles, me especially. So why I try to figure out my own way to do things. And along the way, I learned some different techniques that's why I want to show you guys. Okay, and just, like I said before, continue on until you get to the end. Like I said, felt is very forgiving. You can see it's not quite lining up exact, so I'll take a little bit more from this longer side, come out a little bit, and a little bit less from the shorter side, and it'll even it up. Just a little bit, like marginal, like can't even tell unless you know you've done it. But it will even it up, and it's starting to. You know, what happened was it probably, because it was stuffed, shifted and I didn't realize, and I was making the gaps on this side too big. And that'll throw you off. It's all good, okay? And you get down to the end, get off the tail. And you see I got a little bit of a gap in the tush, so I'm going to take from different pieces and kind of sew them together. Get my yarn out of the way. Okay, just kind of pull it tight and it'll close your gap. Now, I should have checked the stuffing before I did that, so I'm going to loosen this up some. I'm going to show you how to fix the mistakes. It's not everything is going to be perfect. That's life, all right? We'll loosen this up a bit. Again, easier said than done. Make a little bit of a gap. I even have to take that out. I'm gonna have to. Go. We'll take out our stitches because see, he's not stuffed enough. And sometimes you just can't tell till you get done, and that sucks, but that's how it goes. Okay. Fill it up to the desired floofiness and poofiness. And then do use that same technique. Thread your needle. Okay, so I have the body all sewn up and stuffed. I'm going to put the face on next. You know where it all is. So I've lined it up where the center of it is in this seam because it's opposite the tail. So that's the front. Try to center it as best I can. I went ahead and used a safety pin to hold it in place because things tend to move and I move a lot. So doing that. I'm going to start at the bottom. Okay. And I'm going to, because I want the knot underneath. Harrison, hush, please. Thank you. Harrison. So I'm going to start here at the bottom center. I swear it's always something. And he's in his crate. And it's dark outside and he's afraid of the dark, so I don't want to let him out yet. Anyway, so you take that. See, it's just on the tummy part. And then pick up a little bit of the body. And try to get that in the right spot of the tummy. Let's do that again. There we go. Okay. And this will keep it from shifting too much. But on this one, when I did it by the time I got all the way around, it had shifted, and I noticed it had shifted right around here. So I was doing that where you gather a little bit more from the tummy panel than you normally would to try to even that out. And you can't even tell that it was so out of whack, but it was. Okay. But I didn't use a safety pin with that one, so I'm gonna use it with this one. And unfortunately, I can only find one safety pin, so that's why I stuck it in the middle. And you just continue that, a little bit of the body and a little bit of the tummy, spacing like you did the stitches for the other one. You see why it moves around a lot? Sometimes you just catch a tough part of the felt. It's going to have a little bit of puckering, but as you can see from the other one, you can't really tell too much. You just continue. Try to get your spacing as even as possible as you go around. Okay. And you continue that all the way around. Okay, I've stitched all the way around, and even with the pin there, it's still kind of shifted. So it's not exactly centered. I tried tucking the body in more. So I have it all the way in to the end, and now I'm going to make one more kind of stitch underneath, grabbing the body, just the body. I say that, okay, kind of at the seam. You can do this with the body, which I didn't show, and make a knot. Sometimes it's really difficult to make your knot and everything and hide it. Make it and tie as close to the body as possible. You pulled it tight, make your knot, and then I like to take my needle with it and hide the knot. So go underneath and just come out anywhere, doesn't matter, and pull it. And see, it hid the knot. It tucked the knot up underneath, and pull it a little bit tighter than you normally would, and cut it so that when it goes back, it's all tucked up underneath and hidden. I'm going to remove her safety pin. This dog is driving me crazy. All right. And then we have our tummy. Now the rest of the pieces you can do in whatever order that you want to. But since I have gray already out, I'll probably do my flippers. And to do the flippers, it's the same thing. And you'll take your yarn and you'll knot it. Except I want the stitches on the outside. So like with the tummy, you'll start in between. Okay. So you can hide your knot inside. Tuck that under and then whip stitch all the way around. Okay. When you get to the end, you'll tie your knot like we did with the tummy and hide it in there, and then repeat the process with the other set of flippers. Okay, we have our penguin together. We have our little flippers done. So now we're going to attach our flippers. We're going to pick a spot and just make sure it's the same spot on both sides. You want it even. Okay, pick our spot. I've got my yarn and it's already knotted at the other end. We're going to, I'm holding it in place with one finger. Okay, see right there. Flip it up. I'm going to take a little bit of the body and a little bit of the flipper. Okay, not at the end, but a little bit into the flipper itself. Okay, and then back through the body, very close to the first, but not at the exact spot because you don't want to stretch out your felt too much. And again, so you can kind of see, right? And we're going to pull it tight. All right, till it's a little attached. And I'm gonna make sure my yarn is over this way before I knot it. Okay. Get that started and tuck it as close as possible. All right. You can do it twice if you want. One should be enough to keep the yarn from pulling out. As long as it's not played with too hard, it'll be fine. But if you're going with the intent to break something, anything will break. And my kids have proven that to be true over the years. Things that are indestructible, just give them a little more time and they'll figure out a way. Okay, so I've got his little flippers there, and then we'll find the spot on the other side and attach it in the same way. And then after that, I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna grab some orange yarn because I went ahead and I have orange yarn, and I'm going to stitch up the feet like we did the flipper, except leave some space like the body. Leave some space around, because I'll probably start at the back end and then leave some stitches so that I can stuff it, and then we attach it the same way. So probably when I come back to you, you can see what it looks like. You'll see like this one, how it's stitched to it the same way that we did the flipper. Now I did a little bit in the back and then kind of brought a few stitches up to the front, as you can see. And that kind of holds it in place to keep it from spinning or anything, and he can stand a little bit better. So we'll see what that looks like when that's okay. I have our little feet done. Okay. I've stitched it up, stuffed it, and hidden the knot inside like you do. So now we're going to attach it. Now, because our little tail does dip down quite a bit, I'm moving the feet more towards the front, because if the feet were further back, it would still wobble forward. So we're moving the feet to the front to help keep it from going too far forward. So just a little bit. This one I'm just going to use orange because I had orange already on there. And I have it in the front, and I'm going to pick about where on my feet that's going to be. We're going to do a few more stitches than we did with the little flippers. This is fighting me. There we go. Pull that. So we're going to pull it tight as we go, so we don't have to fight the yarn like I did with the flippers when I was showing you guys. So a little bit further back, pull tight. I'm almost following the seam, aren't I? Going around the seam. That was not intentional. That is just what is happening. So kind of go with it. Just want it stable and to look adorable. So now there's 3 of them. That's enough. I'm going to knot it like we did for the flipper. Okay. Pull it through. And then guide it to the end to pull tight. And clip our yarn. Okay. Now, if you don't feel like that's enough, you can always go back and add more stitches. All right. That just might work. You got to get that other one on there. Okay. I apologize if there's anything different from the last section of the video. I had to stop and take a kid to school, and you'll hear in the background that my son is awake and watching Tarzan. So there's no escaping that at times, which is why I was trying to get this all done before he woke up. Anyway, so we have our penguin. We have our penguin with her feet and his cute little tail. So now we're going to put the beak on, which, like I said before, it's a little more complicated. Maybe I just wrote it down. Anyway, a beak is a little more tricky. So we have our section, our beak shape, okay? And we're going to see where the point is. I'm going to line it up so that the curve is on the outside. And we're going to start at this point, just the tip of the beak, and that is my son. Okay, sorry about that. He is nonverbal, autistic, but that does not mean that he is not loud and opinionated. Okay, so we can do this 2 ways. Now this one I stitched on the outside, so you can kind of see the little seam and stuff. Okay. So I was thinking I would do the same thing, but if you wanted, you could do the right sides together, stitch around, and then turn it right side out, so the end of the beak would end up a little more rounded. We're going to gather from either side and around the knot, okay, so that the knot stays tucked in. Okay. Put our yarn along the edge of it. Okay. And stitch. You want to stitch about 1/8 of an inch very close to the edge. So much background noise. I apologize. Just stuff and things. That's how life goes. Okay. You hear the wind chimes and the air conditioners and the Disney movies. My son annoyed at something, probably that's happening on the Disney movie that he's seen 15 bajillion times. Okay, get all the way to the end. All right, see a pretty tight stitch. All right. Now, something that I learned and it took way too long to learn, and I think I've said it before and I will say it again and again and again, the imperfections of your projects, of whatever you do in life, your imperfections are what makes it perfect. Okay. Just keep that in mind. Don't be too hard on yourself. It's going to be perfectly adorable, and that's what matters, is that you took the time to do this. Okay? All right, so now we're going to place it on our face. Try to put it as centered as possible. Okay? I put the seam on the underside. I think that looks better than on top. And take a little bit of the face, and a little bit of the beak, and just like we did with the tummy. Okay? Except the tummy was a little bit easier. How did you see all that? That was crazy. Ah. Goodness. Normally, there would be some colorful language coming out of my face. But I thought I've been doing pretty good keeping that to myself. Okay, there we go. That first couple of stitches are going to be tricky. A pain. There we go. All right, this is not wanting to cooperate, so we're going to stuff the beak. Maybe it'll stay put. A giant mess I'm going to have to clean up when I'm done here. Okay. It's kind of keeping its shape a little bit better. The fluff underneath. And stitching all the way around. This is extremely difficult. Not the most difficult thing I've done. Not by a long shot. It's hard to make this look good while you're trying to show. These little beaks a little bit off. Oh well. That's unfortunate, but It happens. Okay. So I've got the last stitch here, and then we'll knot it from underneath. Just grab a little bit of the face from underneath so I can kind of direct where that knot is going, and then run it through just anywhere so I can pull that knot underneath, at least a little bit. Pull it tight, cut it, and look at that. All right. So now all that we have left to do is the eyeballs. Now for the bunny, I just glued googly eyes on there, but you could do the same thing if you want. But for this little guy, I just had some black buttons and just sewed some black buttons on. And to do that, the yarn was a little thick, so I had taken a piece of yarn, which is just an example of that. This isn't the one I'll be using probably, and untwisted it and used a piece or two like this so that it was a little bit thinner to make it easier to go through the button, and a smaller darning needle. Like this is the one that we used for this, and this one is slightly smaller. That's what I'm going to use for the eyeball. Is I tested it and made sure that it went through the holes in the button. Okay, so I have my yarn piece threaded and I started it on where my eyeball is going to go. You see it goes through my button. This button is a 4-hole button, so go through that. Can you see? You just stitch your button on, go through the fabric. Okay, kind of crisscrossed. Knot it. I did wrap it around for no other reason than to just kind of give me some room to work with to make this knot. Yeah, the knots work out great when you're not trying to show it. Tag nabbit. Okay. Do like what we do to hide the threads. Boom. Okay. We'll repeat the process for the other side. That is a short piece of yarn. Got some Phil Collins going on in the background. Phil Collins going on in the background. Oops. Okay, and there you have it. This was our original, and this was the one that we did together. See, slightly modified. So this one has a tail, this one does not. This one may wobble back or forth, and this one should stay put better. So see? Okay, so here you have it. This was my original one that I did to test things out, and this one was our modified with our little tail and this cute little tushy. Okay, so there you have it. Are they exactly the same? No. Do they need to be? No. They're both adorable. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you can take what you learn from these videos and kind of branch out on your own. Be creative. I know you can do it. And if you have any questions or comments or anything, please do not hesitate to comment on the videos. I do try to check those um, as often as possible. And you can also find on, we have other social media, and as soon as I know exactly what the names, this is terrible, this is so terrible, but as soon as I know what the names are, then I will let you know. My Odd Duck Facebook page is Odd Duck Collectibles, so you can always give us a shout out on that. I do have an Instagram and a Twitter page. I don't know what they are because I have a daughter that is taking care of that, and I've not followed up with her. But anyway, doesn't matter. You can get a hold of me and you can ask whatever. And if there are certain things that you want to see, you want to learn how to make, let me know. And I will be happy to research what I need to research or put the camera on and show you how to do it. So just reach out. And if you liked what you saw, please like, subscribe, and so that you don't miss out on anything, any new crafting adventures that we might go on together. So until next time, thank you. Bye.